Hi, I'm Sonam Wangchuk. I'm at the Chokang Vihara temple, which is the most sacred place in the heart of the Leh city in Ladakh on the Tibetan plateau across the Indian Himalayas. People of Ladakh are marching across the streets of Leh and will be gathering here in any moment now, and they will be expressing their pain and hurt about this recent controversy. Knowing the Western world as well as the Ladakhi world, think it's my duty to share with you all that cultures are different in different parts of the world, values are different. So in Ladakh, as a child, I used to see my mother, who was in her 30s, or other young women in their 20s and teens walking around bare-breast after washing their hairs among men, and men would not even notice them. They would only see at women's breast as source of milk for the babies and nothing sexual. Similarly, I used to play with my grandfather and even with my brothers, touching their heads and nose and playing with their tongues with my tongue. And this was normal play. Similarly now, His Holiness Dalai Lama, who is a grandfather figure, in wide public view with the parents of the child around, was being playful with a child, as he always in the Western world think of it as something outrageous. This would be like if His Holiness the Pope in Vatican did something which would be very normal in the Vatican, but out here in Ladakh it would be outrageous, and we start slandering and saying irresponsible things about the Pope. You all in the Western world would be very hurt. Similarly, people here in Ladakh and Tibet are very hurt. And the benefit of this will be for forces that are against His Holiness the Dalai Lama and his peace mission and the cause of Tibet. So, as a making up for the mistakes we have made about this incident, I think we all should pay even more respect for His Holiness and even more support for the cause of Tibet. And I urge those of you who understand this situation and the misunderstanding, I urge you to share this video as much as possible in the Western world so that people understand that this was perfectly a normal thing in a different cultural world.
I'm saying something which comes straight from my heart. I'm not under any kind of pressure when I'm saying this, but I want to apologize. I want to apologize to all my friends, my sisters, my brothers from Tibet, who have the great regard for His Holiness, the Dalai Lama, the 14th Dalai Lama, Tenzin Gyatso. There was an incident which happened in recent past. I'm doing this in English, by the way, for all my viewers, all my subscribers who watch Hindi content, because I want this message to go unfiltered, which doesn't have any other interpretation, to my brothers and sisters who are there in Tibet.
Watch this video. I would like to personally apologize to the Tibetan community, to His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and all those people who watched my video which I had shared before.
I've been a big follower and a supporter of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. I was the only athlete in the world to boycott carrying Olympic torch when Olympics was held in China. I strongly condemned all the allegations that's made against His Holiness. I stand and fully support and strongly stand with His Holiness the Dalai Lama.
Appropriate, and then jump into the conclusion about the character of the person, in case of Dalai Lama, without care for his reputation, without care for Tibetan culture, is completely unacceptable. In that, I would still say that the main responsibility, Chinese government will do what it wants to do. The main responsibility lies with social media users, which frankly we can't control much. But my main disappointment is with mainstream media, starting with the Indian media that had access to so many Tibetans in India. They live, exiles are in India. They didn't bother to interview them. And by the way, since then also, there's not a single correction or there's not a single corrective in the news story. So I'm very much interested in going back to NDTV and other channels that cover it to say, okay, now that you know the fuller story, the fuller video, Do you want to rethink your story, or do you want to give more coverage to what Tibetans and Tibet experts are saying? I wish that's done, and I hope that will be done in
Let's
India.
all join hands and make hashtag I stand with Dalai Lama trending on all social media platforms. Similarly, many of you could make I'm sorry Dalai Lama trending because we did misjudge something that was so simple, an act of pure playfulness, maybe mischief. Maybe some of us do not like playfulness. It's true, His Holiness is known for pulling the beards of even reputed religious leaders. It's possible some of them did not like it, but it doesn't mean he had any ulterior motives or sexual connotations. This we cannot make.